Welcome back, everybody. This is as early as I get up. It's about 8 o'clock today on a Saturday, and we're going to go through and how to change your fence post, which has been rotted out. So I'm not sure if you can tell on this video or not, but you see how this is very angled up? So this is the back of the front of my fence, and this has a gate on it here, and you can tell how wobbly this is. That's showing you or telling you that this fence post is rotted out and needs replacement. And just to make things even more obvious, here's where the gate should line up. See that big difference? We're off by what I would say 2 or 3 inches, and this door does not close anymore. So I'm sure this is happening to a lot of you guys out there. So rather than pay someone else to do it and change your fence post when you may have a lot of fence posts that need to be changed out. If you have an older fence like I do, my fence is about 20 years old now. So it's time for a lot of these to be changed out. Stay tuned and we'll show you how. So this is the front end view that we're going to talk about today. You can see how the fence really goes up. You can see this gap underneath there. So this has finally gotten to the top of my to-do list. It should be nice and even on the top there, but the frost over the years just keeps pushing up and pushing up and pushing up this fence post because it's all rotted out and it's obviously broken at some point underneath the ground. So we're going to go through and change out this fence post. Now, this is most likely going to be in concrete, so it's going to be a pretty big job, but not all of them may be in concrete depending on, I don't know if it's regulations or just you got to get below the frost line, or depending on the height of the fence. Like I only have, maybe a 4-foot fence. So if you have a 6-foot fence, I'm sure they're going to be in concrete. But if you have a 4-foot or smaller fence, you may be on the border, depending on what the builders or the contractors used in your case. So this really became apparent and boosted my to-do list just because it's really so ugly from the front. Then we just cut down this lilac bush. I don't know if you guys remember in the front of my house, this overhanging lilac. And I said I was pretty much done with it in the past few videos. So today, this has been boosted up to the top of my to-do list for my priorities because it's too ugly to look at now that the lilac is gone and we can see the fence so clearly. So let's go through real quick and find out how to tell if you need to change a fence post. So first of all, you can tell just by looking at it. See how it's all rotted out there? It's no longer square or rectangle shaped. You can see it all down there. And then I'll wiggle on it. You can even tell it's broken off. Now I'm hoping I don't have to change that guy in the corner because there's really no space between the window well and the front here. So that would be a huge job. So you can tell how wobbly this is. I mean, that's no question about it. So good thing for me, I only have to change this post, most likely. The corner post is still in pretty good shape, I believe. Last time I was shaking it, but we'll go through and show you how to tell real quick. So this is probably too much play. So this is obviously cracked out. And yeah, you can tell right there. You can see it. It's not even into the ground anymore when I'm shaking it. So this is a bad fence post. I mean, and a 20-year-old fence doesn't last that long. Again, another one. You can see it. It's rotted down below. And there should not be this much play in a fence. That's just due to wind over the years and the frost. So this is a solid one. So you can see right here, there's no shaking. I'm trying to shake it right now. And this is solid. So one good fence post. I'll just do this quick side for comparison. Oh, another bad one. No question about that. Moving on. That's a solid one right there. Very little play. Another pretty solid one. Not as good as the others, but definitely good enough for a while. And you can tell all those individual fence posts back there that are different color. You can tell I changed out pretty much this whole side. The corner, the back, changed out almost a whole row of them. And those are really the only ones that need replacement. You don't have to change out the middle unless you just want to do it for aesthetics. But it is what it is. And I do want to talk about these also real quick. So you can also buy these supports instead of changing out the whole fence post. The prior owners noticed that there was a problem, but just kind of did a band-aid version where they just applied this reinforcement that'll go into the ground, and it's metal, so obviously metal will not frost or have any issues with. But even this, I mean, look at this. It's not really a good job. It's not as thick as a fence post is, and I know it's not going to be in concrete either, so it's as good as you want to get. I mean, you could do this. It doesn't look good either. It doesn't match the rest of the place, so you can tell they did it there. Nothing there. They kind of just did it as needed, just kind of a band-aid way. So if you're watching this video, let's do it the right way, right? Let's change out those fence posts. So the first thing you're going to need for this job is a post hole digger. And now you can just really tell. Look at that gap underneath. Probably letting in a whole bunch of animals, and just looks really, really bad. Especially when the gate doesn't work. Now I've thought about back and forth in this predicament here that I have, whether or not to just get rid of the gate, because I changed this out on my other side also. You know, this pole right here, or also this pole, since it's doing more weight or being caused more stress than, let's say, one of these normal side posts, which is just affected by wind. This has the door on it, so it has that much more stress. So we were thinking maybe we just remove it since we have a gate on the other side, but powers above said, hey, we need a gate on both sides. So here we are. So all we're gonna do is detach the fence from this pole right here. So let's go ahead and do that, and we can swing this open so it doesn't get in the way. So all these are held together just by a couple screws, and then we can remove this side of the fence. All right, so let's remove the fence post from the rest of the fence. All right, now we have isolated the fence post. You can see how bad this is? Just for the video purposes, I'll just let this go and see if it holds its own. Can you guys see how bad this is? That's what the rotted fence post looks like. And there it is in the ground, all ratted out. And that is why we need to change it out, because it is no longer secure, but oh, trust me, it will be. Once we bury this sucker in concrete, it's going to be beautiful. So keep in mind, everybody, that I'm going to keep this fence post repair as generic as possible, because most of you probably won't be replacing your gate. This is part of the gate, meaning this side and that side. Because we can get this video very, very long, and you guys know I love doing short, quick, precise videos, right? No, of course that's not true. None of my videos are short, but that's why you guys love it, right? But like I said, we're not going to get too much into detail regarding how to line up the door swing. That should be pretty obvious to do a little bit of math measuring. So we're just going to keep this as very simple fence post repair, all right? Not going to worry about the latch and making sure the latch is at the right spot or lining it up. So we're just going to put this in the ground the exact same hole. We're just going to redo the hole and redo the fence post. All right, stay tuned. All right, next step, now that we removed the fence from the one side, we still have this leftover broken post that we're going to remove now. And how do we do that? We dig 42 inches down to get below the frost line so we can get the new post in there. And we're going to use the post hole digger. This will take probably a good hour to 2 hours, so it's going to take a while. So I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but we'll show you the start. And I'm doing this is early August, so this is not the best time to do it, but this got hit on top of my priority list, so it's going to be done earlier than expected. I was going to wait until fall while I do my aeration and overseeding, because I'm going to pretty much mess up the grass all the way around here, but it is what it is, so that would be the best time to do it, in my opinion. So after you get about, I would say, close to 2 feet down, you're going to start seeing concrete most of the time. So that's when we're going to change it up, and we're not going to be able to use this post hole digger anymore. We're going to have to use a different tool for part of it. And just so you can see, this is that hole we're digging around, and we're going to go all the way down 42 inches to get the frost line. And it may be different depending on where you are, so check online yourself. But here in Chicago, that's the depth we need to hit. All right, here is the end of our hole, and this is where the post was. We notched out a little chunk of it. It wasn't perfectly centered, so we had to dig a even bigger hole, and then we kind of wedged it out, and this is where the concrete starts. And just for depth perception, here is the post hole digger. Goes pretty much all the way up to the grips almost, so it's in there pretty good. And this is the amount of clay. We like to separate the clay versus the good soil, so then we can put the clay back on the bottom and the good soil back on the top, so we don't have to put in too much new soil. So now comes the fun part, trying to figure out how to get a rope. So we're going to basically get a rope around here and lift it out. And either we're going to do it by brute force or by like a jack, we'll say like a car jack, and lift it out. So looks like they did concrete. The concrete started about 2 feet down, and after that, then they did roughly, it looks like maybe 30 inches of concrete, maybe 36 from the total. And that is where we're at now. So right now it looks like 36 inches, so they only did probably
18 to 36.
18 to 36. So they did 18 inches of concrete. So we're gonna do quite a bit more. All right, here's the finished hole. We are down far enough, and this is the next steps you'll need. So we have 3. I have an extra bag of concrete, but we're probably going to only do 3. And this is our mixing, and then we have our sonotube. And I like to use the 10 inches. They have 8 inches also. We had to cut it to fit just what we need for the amount of concrete that we're going to use. And we have a 8-foot post here, and you may or may not need this. This is kind of like a pry bar, very heavy, and basically it's used for breaking up the concrete that's surrounding the fence post. Next step is to put the post in. All right, now we are preparing the concrete. Got to be just the right moisture level, we'll say. Okay. And that is our sonotube, cut a few inches below the line of the ground, so it's kind of inset, we'll say, and the pole's already sitting in there. And we're going to level it out, of course, before we actually put it in. Make sure it's perfectly level, up and down, sideways. All right, so we're putting the concrete in. We're almost full, as you can tell. And just going to be tamping it down with a stick every now and then, to make sure there's no space or whatever in the bottom. And it evens things out. And we made sure that this pole is level on both sides already, so it's exactly where we want it to be. And then Next up, we will fill the clay back in the hole on the outside. And then once that's full, we'll use the topsoil or the dirt that was on the top that's not clay based, and we'll put that on top. So we left about 3 or so inches on top in order to regrow new grass. So I'll be doing that in the fall, putting down new grass seed in this area, and also part of my normal aeration process and overseeding. Okay, it is tomorrow, and now you can tell we finished the fence post, and this is what you're going to look like afterwards. Nice fresh dirt all the way around there. And put the fence post back in there. See how nice and strong it is now? The sucker's not moving at all. Now, the final test. Does the new latch close? Yes, it does. Successful job. Completed finally. One more thing off my project to-do list. So one thing I forgot to mention earlier. So you see this new post that I put in here? So make sure that you either get this as cedar, which is much better for weather resistance, or a pressure treated type of lumber. So either of these types of lumber will be much better and last you much longer than if you did not buy pressure treated or cedar. And as you can tell, I no longer have an ugly pitch shaped up anymore, so that's a good thing. So it's now pretty and it's sturdy, and most importantly, it's a usable gate now. That's the most important thing, because we got little ones running around, so we don't want them to get out on their own with no gate. Or also have other animals coming in. Like, I might even lower this gate so you can see how much gap is on the bottom. That's a little bit more than I like, so I might have to drop that maybe 2 inches just to feel a little secure that, you know, animals, like especially dogs and stuff like that, wild dogs or cats aren't really coming into the yard. So that's what it is. So if you guys have any other questions regarding what we've done here, or why, or how to do it, let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. This is Mike with Jealous Lawn Care, and we'll see you next time.